Hi, Brian. It's great to meet you and welcome. Thank you so much for joining me. Before we dive in, can you tell me a bit about yourself and how you discovered?
Hi, Joseph. Pleasure to be here. Great to meet you finally. Yeah, my name is Brian Kelly. I'm originally from Ireland, but at the moment I live in Denmark. I'm here in Copenhagen. And yeah, I work in construction, which brings me kind of all around Europe at the moment. Currently in between jobs, so I don't know where I'm going next. Um, so yeah, I've recently qualified as a fully qualified carnivore coach with Carnivore Coach International. Peter's Peter and Eddie Goki run that. Um, yeah, so I've been carnivore for let me see, full carnivore for about a year and a half. I was keto for about 6 months before that. So back in 2023, you'll see a photo on my Instagram page there. It's pretty prominent at the top of my page. A photograph that was taken on a construction site that I worked on. I was the site manager there. And I was talking to a guy that was setting up a crane, and I kind of had my hand pointed, and it was taken from the side, and it showed my gut. It was absolutely enormous. Now, that photograph, even though it wasn't taken of me, it was the whole scene, that went up on a WhatsApp group for the site. Now, they're big sites, construction sites. There was maybe 500-600 people on that group. It's a safety WhatsApp group for the site. So, yeah, I saw myself in that photograph, and boy, did I get embarrassed, and boy, did I have what we call why moment in this neck of the woods. Our why moment is that moment that we come to realize we have to do something about our health and about our, you know, weight and all the other things. So that was my why moment. I decided I have to do something about my health. It's not going very well. Now, I hadn't been diagnosed with much at the time, but I could see that I was very badly inflamed, and this huge gut developed. So I started digging and digging on the internet and on Instagram, mostly on my private page at the time. And, I came across some stuff that was of value. I found a lady that lives in New Zealand now, but she's Australian, Barbara O'Neill. I don't know if you've ever heard of her. She is not carnivore, but she is very, what would you say, anti carbohydrate and anti um, processed foods and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, she's vegetarian, I think. But anyway, either way, she started me off on the right direction of getting rid of seed oils, getting rid of processed foods, sugary drinks and snacks and all that stuff. And yeah, basically I was down to keto without even knowing what keto was at the time, if you get me. I hadn't really got into that world. So I started dropping these things off, and immediately I started feeling better. And the weight started coming off. Those first 6 months, I lost maybe 10, 15 kilos. Um, but me being me, the more and more I kept digging into that world, the more and more the likes of Dr. Sean Baker, Dr. Anthony Chafee, the Ken Berries and all the other big hitters in this space, they started popping up. And all of a sudden, this started making so much sense to me. And so immediately almost, I started cutting all the rest of it down, the veg and the last of the carbs. And let's say I was left really at the end. The only thing I was having was blueberries and a little bit of honey in a bowl of Greek yogurt. Was the only thing I had that wasn't carnivore, which wasn't that bad, to be honest. But again, I still had gout. It was a big problem with me for the last 10, 15 years. I've had gout, and I could feel it easing a lot, but it wasn't until at that moment that I got rid of the blueberries and a little bit of honey, a week later or something like that, the gout disappeared completely. I was full carnivore at this stage. I wouldn't say lion. No, just carnivore. And everything started improving tenfold from there on. I dropped, in all, over the course of 10, 12 months, something like that, I dropped 37 kilos. I'm now 12 months at 70 kilos exactly. I check it every now and again, and there's maybe plus or minus of a kilo, but that's about it. And yeah, I feel amazing. My energy levels are through the roof. My sleep is 100%. I sleep like a log, whereas before, well, I had been diagnosed maybe in 2022 with sleep apnea, but really hadn't done anything about it. But that's all gone. It's just disappeared. My tinnitus has disappeared. Tinnitus, whichever way you want to call it. And yeah, everything in my life has improved. All my joint pain is gone everywhere, including sciatica that I had at the base of the spine, sciatic nerve. That's disappeared. I've had that for years. I find my eyesight is improving. My hair is a lot better. There's a million and one things we all know about in this space that improve so much when you adapt this way of eating. So that's pretty much a rundown of my story a little bit.
Yeah, Ryan, I think that's pretty cool. I mean, how you tested things, especially with Barbara O'Neill. You started with pretty much like low carb, and and then gradually getting into carnivore, and then different diets, and then you found out what worked for you. I think that's really awesome. And also congratulations on earning your health coach certification. I think that's a really solid accomplishment. I'm just curious, what's the plan from here?
The plan from here is I'm not going to give up my current career that quickly, because I know it's going to take time to get deep into the coaching space. It's not going to start happening tomorrow morning for me. I'm just starting off afresh. So I need to take some time to build up momentum on it before I would give up my day job. So, yeah, I am interviewing for construction work at the moment. I'm going to give it 12 months maximum before I cut that out and go full-time coach. I need to build up some, what would you call it? Case studies or whatever, and build up, a coaching program, and I have so much in my head. I need to get that all sorted out first before I get rid of my current job. I mean, I'm in my current job for the last 30 years. I'm 53 now, and it's difficult to walk away from something that you've got so much solid experience in, and I've got a good career in that. To give that up for me is a big thing. So yeah, I'm going to take my time with it, and like I said, prepare for the next 12 months. Take on a few clients that I can coach at the weekends, or during holidays or whatever it may be, and build up testimonies, build up a few case studies or whatever you want to call it, and that way, I can build a website from there. I can build this from there. Yeah, build the program. And that's my plan over the next 12 months, really, is to phase out my construction career and phase in my coaching career. I also have a number of ways in mind of blending the two, if you'll hear me out. Yeah, as I told you, I work all over Europe, and I've been on these massive sites for the last 5-6 years. We're building data centers, which is a big thing at the moment. And there are thousands and thousands and thousands of people migrating around Europe, especially. They're doing it all over the world, but this is my little corner. And my idea is to make a presentation that I can speak during Health Week or whatever it may be on the site, in the big meeting room they have, and put a presentation showing my own story, do a little bit of talking about the dangers of carbohydrates and the wonders of saturated fat and all that kind of stuff. And, if I can even get people to cut out processed foods and lower their carb intake, I'll be doing some good. So I'm hoping to put together a little bit of a plan for that as well, and I might roll that out over the next 12 months while I'm, working around Europe. But I think that that's something I could do, like on a consultancy basis with these large companies that are building these data centers, because even, what was it, 2 years ago now? No, it was 2024. There was a guy on a site I was working on in Belgium, and he was quite big. He was obviously very badly inflamed. He was 52. He was the same age as I was at that time. And he had a heart attack on site one day. And lucky enough, there was a few first aiders nearby. They attended to him. The ambulance came. He was brought to hospital, and we were told that he had gone into a coma. So 2 days later, at the next meeting we were in, we were told that he had died. And he was a father of 3 kids, I think it was, from Romania. And yeah, he's typical of a lot of guys that work away from home. They're working all day long. They're eating snacks from flipping vending machines and rubbish from petrol stations and gas stations, whatever you want to call them. Not eating very well, going home tired in the evening, not bothered to cook, just grab something from the takeaway or order in, whatever. And, just not living very well at all. And I know that there are hundreds of thousands of these guys working on these sites around Europe alone. So my aim is to put 2 and 2 together, these guys can see from my why picture that I was in their world, understand them, how they live, and how they can improve it. When I'm working away from home now, my suitcase is full of glass lunchboxes and stainless steel frying pans and, all the good stuff you need. As we know in this space, when I go to an apartment that's abroad, there's Teflon pans and there's plastic flipping egg flips and whatever. And I always bring that stuff with me, my own metal and wood and my own knives. I have a really good set of knives that I bring. And of course, chopping boards, you always see these plastic chopping boards. And, I think that I can make a big difference to a lot of people's lives in that industry. So I think I'm going to work on that as well for the next 12 months. See how it goes.
I think that's pretty awesome. I mean, I like your motivation now, how you creating awareness and bringing it to the data center and planning a presentation. I also like how you planning to phase out pretty much the construction career and pretty much helping people get back their health. Brian, I'm curious, before you found Carnivore, what was your motivation back then? I'm trying to say life in general. I had health issues also before I found Carnivore. I pretty much given up, and I feel motivation for me felt like I had to push it because I'm thinking I'm just getting older, getting out of shape as I get older, and then I have to put this medicine on my psoriasis, eczema, and then motivation in life is pretty much I have to force it. What was your motivation before you found Carnivore?
Absolutely terrible. I guarantee you, it was tanked. I had no motivation. I struggled to get out of bed in the morning. I struggled to drag myself into work. I struggled to get through the day. And yeah, I was sedentary in the evenings. There was no motivation. It was just get through today and let's worry about tomorrow. That's all it was. And it's totally different now. You can tell by the previous section I just did there. My motivation is like that. It's through the roof. I have so many ideas. Like whereas before, I would have been worrying about how am I going to get to retirement years. I have another 10 years to go. How am I going to get through those 10 years because I can flip and retire? And now it's the case of, I don't think I'm going to retire for another 30 years, to be honest. So huge difference, Joseph. Totally different. Everybody in this space talks about the mental clarity that comes with carnivore after a certain length of time. I mean, every single one of us in this space is saying that, so there has to be something to it. And, I've just proved it in one way by getting my certification as a health coach. I mean, bloomin' heck, if you'd asked me 2 years ago, Brian, what do you see yourself doing in 2 years' time? I wouldn't have been close to that answer. No way. So, you could, like I said, the mental clarity, and these courses are not, especially this one with Carnivore Coach International, it's quite intensive. There's a lot of physics and biology and a lot of terms, and it goes into microscopic detail about how the body works and how the gut works and how all the different mechanisms work. And for me to be able to focus enough to study the course material and to actually retain it, I mean, that didn't even happen when I was young. I was no good in school, kind of thing. And at the age of 53, for me to retain that information enough to get certified, that's a huge thing, in my mind. And yeah, I feel that, previously in my previous way of living, eating crap foods and drinks and whatnot, I mean, there was no way I was going to do that, So I'm glad I found this way for so many reasons. There's so many reasons to do this. And I have 3 kids. Well, 2 of them are adults now, but, I have 3 people that, kind of look up to me and, they can't believe it, the difference in me. They just can't. So, yeah, my oldest 2 sons, they're 19 and 21. And they're both now carnivore or very close to it. And they're thriving as well, which is something I'm very proud and happy of also.
That's awesome. Wow. And you got the two other kids, the 2 other adults now to go carnivore too.
Yeah, it took a little bit of
That's really cool. And you know what? I really relate with your I guess the motivation before you had the carnivore. Yeah, because it felt the same way for me. I feel like, you just had to get over your life, like you said, you had to get to your retirement, the last 10 years or so. But now, life in general is pretty much full of life, full of motivation. You have so many ideas, so many plans now. It's like there's no stopping, right?
Absolutely. There's no end in sight for me now. I'm thinking about the next 30, 40 years, what I'm going to be doing. My intention is to have 20 acres on the side of a mountain somewhere, collecting the spring water and having my chicken coop and, a small field of cows and goats and sheep and everything else, ducks, whatever. That's what I look forward to when I retire now. And I'm spending my time coaching people online, tending to my farm, a little bit like what's his name, Bart Kay is doing. Yeah, Bart. He's got his, Kimbartia. I want my Kimbartia, but it'll be something different, but something like that. That's my outlook.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome. Brian, what's your favorite food before you went carnivore?
Oh, I ate it all. Um, Favorite food? I would have to say, to be honest, in regards to, the main bulk of my food would have been meat related anyway. I always included meat. And growing up in Ireland, where I'm from originally, I was raised on whole food. It all came from the farm. Uh, you know, um, there were no supermarkets in the area at the time when I was very small. We drank milk that came from the cows. It didn't go to the factory. It went straight to the fridge. Um, and I kind of kept that as the basis of my um, diet over the course of my lifetime, really. I might have slipped a little bit in later years when I was working away from home. Like I described earlier, all these guys that are working away from home, they stop cooking. And that happened for me as well. The last 5 or 6 or even 10 years leading up to my why moment, I would have been like that. But again, eating whole foods would have been a big part of my life all the time. But of course, we know now that it's all gone wrong, in regards to even eating whole foods that come from supermarkets. They're all, uh, they're all sprayed with glyphosate, and we know now what lectins and all these things do to us. So oxalates and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, being from Ireland as well, of course, the potato is the big thing everybody jokes about. Oh, you're from Ireland, you must like potatoes. For an Irishman to give up potatoes, I'll tell you something, that took a lot. Um, but actually, I find it okay. Now I can sit at a table with family in Ireland when I go home every so often, and they're all eating their potatoes and their cabbages and all that kind of stuff, and I'm just there with a stick. And it mystifies them, but I say, look, you do it your way. This is my way. But lucky enough, my two sons normally join me at my mum's house when I'm there or whatever, and they'll eat the same as me. And yeah, my mum thinks we're all nuts and we're all going to die of heart attacks because of the cholesterol.
Um, Looking start of your carnivore journey, did you ever had any mistakes or like maybe did you have? I'm guessing what I'm trying to say is, did you ever had a moment of doubt with when you were trying carnivore for the first time before while you were switching from the low carb to just straight up carnivore? Did you experience oxalate dumping? I think some people experience that like maybe later down the years. Yeah, did you ever had a moment of doubt or maybe a mistake? Yeah.
I mean, we all make mistakes. What we do with them is and how we learn from them is the key to it all, I think. Yeah, there was a few bumps in the road, as with everything else, when I was starting off from going from the keto to the carnivore kind of phase. I didn't notice any oxalate dumping at all, and I haven't noticed much since, to be perfectly honest. Maybe it hit me all at once, I don't know, but um, I was never a big fan of vegetables anyway, to be perfectly honest. So maybe I didn't have as big a problem as people coming from a vegan diet or something like that. So there could be that in it. Um, so yeah, mistakes, of course. Yeah, everyone makes mistakes in the beginning, and while you're figuring things out, and while your gut microbiome is changing, and you're still having these sugar cravings and whatnot. And yes, a bar of chocolate still looks appealing. Um, so yeah, of course I've made mistakes. So long as you learn, so like you feel like crap after having that bar of chocolate or whatever it may be. You feel so bad after it that you just, no, not doing that again. Don't. Well, my stomach is terrible because of that. I've done that a number of times in the beginning, for the first month or so, for the first month or two, had those couple of biscuits or cookies or whatever, and just felt bad after it. My stomach would immediately react to it. And I stopped doing that 12 months ago easily. I don't deviate from it at all now. So,
Yeah,
everybody makes
yeah.
mistakes.
I had the same yeah, yeah. I have the same reaction. Like whenever I maybe it gets mixed up with my food, and then I get a reaction. Like especially because when you eat out, you don't know if they cook it like with seed oils, and then I would get a
Yeah.
reaction, with it like the next day.
That's
But
why I really,
I know you. Go ahead.
really don't eat out anymore. And this is a lot of laugh, but I really don't. I don't trust anybody else to cook my food anymore. I need my food cooked in tallow or ghee or butter, and that's it. And I use sea salt, and that's it. And I can't trust any restaurant to do that for me. In fact, I'm even thinking about opening my own chain of restaurants here in Europe. It's the only thing I can think of.
I think that's awesome if you open a restaurant. Yeah, that's a pretty cool idea. Brian,
That's
I know
it.
you mentioned. I know you mentioned the gout that you had for 15 years, and then you had the sciatica for
Mm-hmm.
several years, joint pain and tinnitus. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
did you experience like pretty much healing gradually, or did it like you waited maybe like a month and then it started disappearing, like all this pain went away like quickly or gradually?
It was gradual, and to be honest, it took time for me to even realize that these things had disappeared. Um, Once you adapt the carnivore way of eating, yes, it takes a couple of weeks to transition. And during those couple of weeks, you're more concentrated on, what's what your toilet habits are, and are you feeling that you're getting enough protein and fats, and you kind of focused on the food. And you don't really realize, and 9 times out of 10, most people come into this for weight loss or fat loss, like I did. That's the first thing that motivated me. And I think it motivates a lot of people. Now, it's different for somebody with psoriasis or something like that. Yeah, but a lot of people come into this with the specific goal of fat loss. And that's what I was focusing on. And, it wasn't until maybe 2 or 3 months in to full carnivore that I realized, hold on, my gout is gone. I haven't felt that for a few days. The knee pain is gone. Um, Hold on, my ears aren't ringing anymore at night time. So gradually, one by one, all these things started dropping off. And it does take a couple of months. It was maybe 6, 8 months into it before all these things kind of disappeared. I feel like I'm in my 30s now. I really do, except I don't look it. But on the inside, I am.
Yeah, yeah, I fully agree because I feel the same way. I'm 40 years old and I feel like I'm back in my 20s. It's so weird. I don't even
It
because
is.
I'm considering going to the doctor this month, right? But I'm like thinking, why do I have to go to the doctor? I'm feeling so good. I'm just
I've no
following my
intention.
my feeling when it comes to that now. Yeah. So yeah, I completely agree with you feeling younger because I feel the same way. That's really awesome. Um, Brian, what does a typical day or week for you the eating look like? Do you keep it consistent or do you switch things up? Maybe you can walk me through what you usually eat in a week or maybe
Yeah.
monthly. Yeah.
For me, I keep it quite simple. But I do experiment at times when I can find certain things easily. So, for example, my typical meal would be burger patties that I make myself, and eggs, maybe some clean bacon when I can find it. Um, I include a little bit of cheese now, just cheddar cheese, tiny bit on top of the patty. That's it. Because I can tolerate it. And that's the bones of it. If I can find sirloin steak on offer or ribeyes or whatever, if I see them on offer, I'll get them. I'll keep them in the freezer. So I always have a good stack of meat in there. I'm the worst for taking it out in time. But yeah, I just keep an eye out for the deals, the bargains, and all of that kind of stuff in advance. Make sure it's in my freezer. Like I said, I travel a lot, so I can't bring a great big chest freezer on my back into an airport. It doesn't work, I'm sure. But yeah, I try and work the best with what I can. I don't go for the fancy cuts all the time. If I can find it, I'll have some venison or some duck, or just change it up a little bit sometimes. But generally, it's steak, ground beef, eggs, bit of bacon, bit of cheese. That's me. Simple. If I can find proper wild-caught salmon, I love that. But it's difficult to find now. Yeah, maybe some shrimp now and again, some prawns. Again, wild-caught. I won't
Yeah.
eat
Wow.
farmed anything. Yeah.
Yeah. I think you got a pretty awesome list there. Burger patties. You even have cheese, steak, ground beef, some bacon, and some fish. I think that's pretty solid there. Brian, what's the hardest thing about being carnivore for you? Like for me, it has been the social gatherings, right? I think it's still kind of hard, especially with the holidays. Sometimes I'm not looking forward to it, but I do want to see my family and my relatives and friends.
Yeah. I know.
Also the travel, and yeah, I with travel. I can imagine with you traveling, different countries here and there, and also the cravings in the beginning, but that one went away. What's the hardest thing for you?
Right now, there's nothing hard about it. Right now, there was as I was coming through my journey, and maybe being unsure of it, and going to that family gathering and giving into temptation because I wasn't certain about my journey. But if I go to that now, there's no temptation for me. I will eat the meat off the table, and that'll be it. And you will not convince me otherwise, no matter what family member is there. They will not convince me otherwise. A waitress in a restaurant is not going to convince me that I need the bowl of bread or the whatever on the table. I don't need it. Thank you. Take it away. Um, you know, so when you get to a certain stage in carnivore, I think that it gets easier to be hard fast in your belief and in your own journey, and you know why you're doing this, and nobody else is going to tell you otherwise. So in my mind, it's easier. It gets easier once you get through that first 12 months, I think, and your brain is working properly, and you're realizing that everything you're doing it for your own health, not theirs. That's the main thing in my mind. So I don't find anything difficult about this anymore. There's nothing difficult about it. It's easy.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah. Thank you.
You mentioned a couple of things earlier, about carnivore, like how it brought you mind clarity, all the health issues going away. What is the best thing about it now? Because we just talked about like what's the hardest thing. What is the best thing for you now? Like for me, it has been I can sleep. I think that
Mm.
was the best thing for me. Yeah.
To name one best thing is difficult, to be perfectly honest with you. I have about five, maybe. Sleep, as you say. proper sleep, constant energy through the day. You know, it's just I don't feel tired or sluggish at any time during the day until I get tired at night time, and then I go to sleep. And that just makes life so easy. The mental clarity is amazing. You know, you can focus again all throughout the day without getting tired and mentally stressed and all that kind of stuff. So those are the three big ones. Definitely. Shopping is easy. You know, it simplifies that so much. You know, if I can get to a regenerative farm, I will, and I'll buy as much as I can in bulk that I can store in a certain freezer space. But shopping becomes like it's just a breeze. You go into a supermarket, you skip the whole lot of it and go to the back wall, and everything you need is along that back wall almost. You know, it just makes life so easy in general. Yeah. Flexibility is another thing.
I totally get that one. Yeah.
Flexibility. I can move my neck like that. I wouldn't be able to turn my neck at all 2 years ago. I can nearly look behind me now. It's amazing. It really is. And strength. I feel like I'm just so much stronger. You know? And I'm not really working out in the gym. I've hit the gym a few times, but I'm not really hell-bent on that end of it. Yes, I enjoy a certain amount of fitness and whatnot, and I have some dumbbells. I do that at home. I'm not really a gym buff, but being able to do it is another thing, you know. I have some 10 kg dumbbells at home that I do a few things with now and again. And, you know, I can feel that I'm putting on a little bit of muscle. I don't need to look like Arnold Schwarzenegger. I don't feel that's a goal of mine. I just want to be physically fit enough to, you know, be able to fall over in my 80s and not break my hip, and be able to sit on the sofa without grunting, and these kind of things, you know. And maybe I will up my gym activity when I'm a little bit older. I think I probably might, as I get away from these construction jobs and whatnot, because they take up a lot of my time. You're traveling, you're doing long hours, and you're traveling again. And it's different to your normal 9-to-5 office job kind of thing. So I haven't really got the opportunity to have a gym membership at home or at where I'm working. It just doesn't work out that way. So maybe when I phase out the construction end of it, I will get into the gym more. But other than that,
Yeah, absolutely.
To finish your question, there are so many pluses to it. It's just like a never-ending list, that one.
I can completely understand that, because you know, there's so many to choose from. Like but for me, one was to sleep, but I can completely understand, because you know, maybe it's just like all of the above to simplify things. Right?
I think you need to change that one from a 1 to a 5, because no one is going to give you just one. I don't think so.
Yeah, I think that's true. Yeah, that's pretty much true.
Yeah.
Brian, if you had to describe the impact of carnivore in your life, what one word would you describe it, and why?
The impact on my life, well, I'd say it's completely life-changing. My entire outlook on life has changed, as I said earlier. I was looking at my graph going this way towards the end of my life, and I was thinking about hospital care and who's going to look after me when I'm older, and am I going to be a burden to my kids when I'm older? You know, all of those fears have gone away on carnivore. All of them. I'm just hoping my son lives long enough to bury me. You know, that's the way I'm feeling on carnivore, and I'm probably sidetracking from your question, but the outlook on life, it just changes everything for the rest of your life. You know, I can't say much more about it. Really and truly, it's just totally life changing.
Yeah, yeah, it's the same. Same for me. I
Mm.
completely agree with that. Brian, knowing what you know now about nutrition and the carnivore lifestyle, if you can give an advice to someone just starting, or maybe they have gout also, and
Mm.
they see that you've had major improvements, not just the gout and other health
Mm.
other health issues. But there's I would say extremely skeptical about getting a heart disease, heart attack. So they don't really want to touch meat, like on an everyday basis. What would you tell them?
Yeah, get over it. That's the first thing I'd say. We've been eating meat since we've been able to walk upright, and that's 2.6 million years. If it was bad for us, we wouldn't have evolved at all. It wouldn't have happened. We'd have died somewhere out in the Serengeti. Um, it isn't bad for us. Meat is not bad for us. That's a myth that was made up starting in the 1960s. We've all read the fake studies from Ansel Keys and all these guys. They screwed us up over the last, since the 1960s, especially, and all that science that they're listening to, and all these drugs that they're handing out are all about money. We've been lied to, and we've been blindfolded, and we've been treated like sheep, basically. So pull the blindfold off and listen to those people that have gone through this, that have done the training. There are doctors now that are turning their tides as well. Every single day we see new doctors coming on into this space that have realized, I don't know if you know Dr. Ankur Verma. Have you spoken with him, Joseph? Yeah. He's doing some amazing studies in India. I talk with him quite regularly. He's a good friend. The likes of these doctors that are conducting these studies now, that are putting all that garbage to rest, is amazing to see happening, and I'm so delighted that I'm involved in it a little bit. I collaborate with him a lot on some of his posts, and yeah, it's great to be a part of. So yeah, forget the fear of meat, forget the fear of saturated fats. We've been lied to. Okay, higher LDL does not cause does not cause atherosclerosis. I hate that word, but heart disease. So it doesn't. Yeah, and I'm not laughing about the subject. Believe me, I've been studying it like hell lately. It's the sugar. And people don't understand that all carbohydrates turn to sugar in the blood. All of it turns to sugar in the blood. All you do is take sugar out of the carbs, and the rest goes out in waste. Right? So, if you cut the carbohydrates, cut the processed food, which is just chemically concocted junk. If you cut those out, seed oils, what was I saying? Seed oils, processed food, and carbohydrates. Cut those three, you're 80% of the way there. Yeah? So that's what I would say. That's your transition to start with. Cut those down for the first couple of weeks, first week or two. Yeah? Then you start dropping off your veggies and your fruits and all that kind of stuff. And over the course of a month, just do that and see where you are. And up your saturated fats and your proteins. And you'll feel amazing within a month, 6 weeks. You'll wonder why you never did it before. So I hope that answers you.
Yeah, that's great advice. It really I feel like it hits me up there because I think I remember also, with me, like I made mistakes in the beginning, like with seed oils and all that. But yeah, I think that's
Yeah,
a good for someone who's starting.
yeah.
Brian, have
I
you
mean,
have you ever go ahead?
yeah. Obviously, if you are very new to it and you jump straight in, you're going to have problems, right? Uh, it depends on what your diet was like. I mean, if you go straight from vegan to carnivore, you're going to have issues straight away. Your digestive system is not going to like it. Your gut microbiome is going to get all upset. You're going to have all kinds of what they call keto flu, um, and you're going to give it up, and you're going to say carnivore didn't work for me. If you're one of those people, reach out to a coach. You know, you got Joseph there, you got I'm in this space, and there's thousands of us that are now being trained up to help guide people on their journey, and, stay there for them over whatever it may be, 12 weeks or 3 months, and guide and encourage them to get through their journey. And I think it's money well spent to engage with a coach that you relate to. Um, and that's all I'll say about that is that, yeah, transitioning is the worst part. Once you get through that phase, it's a breeze. I promise you that. Yeah.
Brian, have you ever done something unconventional with I guess maybe I'm not even sure if it's out of the norm, like with carnivore. Like I know some people in the carnivore space, like they eat meat raw. I know I know you've met Jonathan. He's probably your
Mm-hmm.
friend.
Yeah,
Um,
he is.
yeah. So have you done like something similar or maybe something different? Something not a regular for a carnivore? Yeah.
No, I won't say raw. I haven't gone that far yet, but what I will say is that 2 years ago I liked my steak well done, but now I like it blue rare. I just sear it both sides. Flip it over. That's it, done. So there's that. But anything unconventional, I don't think so. No, no. I've tried some of those recipes. I've got Courtney Luna's cookbook, and you've got the Carnivore Connoisseur there. I've got his cookbook, and I've tried some recipes and stuff like that, but nothing out of the norm, really.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty cool because I feel the same way. I don't think I'm ready for the raw yet, but I do want to try it at some point. Maybe I'll try it
Yeah,
for a week.
yeah. It's not that I'm opposed to it. It's just it's not something that's ever been in my life before, and I don't feel the urge to do it. So I don't know if I am. Maybe I'll try it sometime just for a reel or something. I don't know. But yeah, there are some people that just tolerate raw better. I know Jonathan very well. I actually traveled to Norway to meet him. Um, and yeah, for those few days he was with me, he had cooked meat. It's not that he doesn't eat cooked meat sometimes. Um, uh, but he finds that when he eats it raw, he digests better. Everything feels better for him. So yeah.
Yeah. Um, how do you see carnivore in the next 5 to 10 years? Negative light meaning like it's gonna be more censorship with the media. Big pharma might be giving out false information, meat prices going high, and then good side would be more people joining in the community, learning about carnivore lifestyle. More people healing. Yeah, what are your thoughts?
Absolutely. As you said, the machine is going to try and keep us down. The pharmaceutical companies don't like us. They will not. They will keep paying people to talk against the carnivore diet. Um, it doesn't do their bank balances any good. what I'm banking what I'm placing my bet on is that more and more people are going to come on board. There's going to be more of these types of podcasts, like yourself, starting up. People are listening. I know that from ourselves, that this movement is growing and growing and growing and growing. And I don't think that they're going to be able to stop us. It's going to get to a point. I mean, there's well over 1.2 million of us now that have healed on Carnivore, or healed almost all of that. I mean, it heals so many things. I mean, I've seen so many cases. I don't know if you've listened to many of Dave Mack's interviews, but Dave has done over 1,500. I've made it my life mission. I'm going to watch every one of those eventually. But some of the ones I see is people are solving MS. They're reversing their cancer. These are Alzheimer's, thyroid cancers. Every single thing that people are dying of is curable by the carnivore lifestyle. Everything. Every single metabolic disease known to man can be cured this way. And that voice that we have in this space, and the likes of Dave Mack, if we keep adding these stories on top of stories on top of stories, they eventually have to listen. You've got Christopher Brandon in this space now, working his way up through the political aspects of it. I mean, he's the guy you want on the top. I know where is he? Nevada. Good for Nevada. I hope you get him in there. He's going to do a lot of good for you. The more and more we keep talking about it, keep pushing out our stories, keep trying to help one person at a time, I don't think they can stop us. I really don't. I don't think any amount of money can compensate for giving people their lives back. You can give them a pharmaceutical that it doesn't really do much in the end of the day. It just kind of covers a situation for now until it doesn't work. And then you need another one, and you need another one, and you need another one, and then you die of excruciating pain. And there's an easier option, and this is it. So I think it's next 5 to 10 years. It may take longer than that, but I think it's going to split the world down the middle, kind of thing. You're going to have a lot of people getting back into regenerative farming and homesteading and that kind of stuff, and they're the people that are going to thrive. And then you've got all these people that work for pharmaceutical companies, and they're just blindsided by the paid off doctors and the paid off scientists and the paid off statisticians, and it's going to be a battle for sure. But I think, if we keep persevering, I think we'll win. At least, or win enough of it to keep momentum going.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome. Yeah, I'm betting my money also on the positive side, hoping that that we win, because I know they're probably not noticing it yet. So, but eventually they would have to listen.
Yeah, when I say win, well, I don't think we're ever going to win. They're not going to lock down their factories and say, okay, we give up. That's never going to happen. There's going to be something else that's going to come out. There's going to be a big, I don't know. They're going to keep making money. They have to, or else I don't know. But they're not going to close down these big factories. I mean, the pharmaceutical industry is just as big as the data center industry at the moment. It's huge what's going on. I mean, I live in Denmark. Like I said, it's the home of Novo Nordisk, that make the what do you call it? The statin drug? No, not the statin drugs. The GLP-1s, the Wegovy and Ozempic. That's the one. Yeah, and they are building huge plants here for making that stuff. I mean, huge industrial plants, and they're still investing in it. And America is their, the US is their market base, you know, and they're banking on that, you know. Today is Super Bowl day, isn't it? Did I hear? Apparently, a lot of the ads.
Yeah, I think it's today.
Yeah, a lot of the ads on TV during Super Bowl is going to be Ozempic and McDonald's or whatever. You know, it doesn't make sense what's going on. Yeah.
Yeah, they're gonna have those big commercials. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Mm.
Brian, if people want to reach out or connect with you, where's the best place to reach you?
Well, at the moment, you can see my handle on the screen. It's hunter-gatherer mindset. That may change now that I got my certification, and as I move towards setting up a business geared more towards coaching, I might change that. Although that handle has worked for me very well, and I hate to change it. But I have the same handle on Facebook, and I have the same one on TikTok now. I've started. And I've reserved the YouTube channel. I haven't started using it yet, under the same name. So, yeah, hunter-gatherer mindset will get me.
That's excellent. I'm gonna make sure to post all of them in the description so people can reach you. Brian, thank you so much again for joining me. I really enjoyed hearing your story and learning about your carnivore journey. I appreciate you taking the time to share. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Joseph. It was a pleasure to talk to you, and maybe we'll do it again sometime. Take care. Appreciate it.